Stone Restaurant.
Looks over the middle, second guesses, fires, throws. Does he make the catch in the end zone? Yes! Touchdown! Oladipo to win it.
Another one!
He got
Another one!
Oladipo!
Another one! Huge hole! He's at the 30! He's gonna go! 10, 5, touchdown! Jonathan Taylor!
Worked out by Burke. Bounces into Cody. Puts it up. Scores!
Now, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Well, hello, everybody, and a happy Monday to you. I hope you're ready to get your week off to a good start. If not, we've got a way to do that. We've got the great Don Fischer with us, the voice of the Hoosiers, and plenty more after that. But, Don, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. Sun's up, so we're not going into some kind of an abyss.
Yeah, not exactly a great weekend for football in general around here. The Colts, not a good weekend. The Hoosiers, of course, as well, lose. But try to find something positive. Donovan McCulley looked good, but other than that, there was not a lot to shine in that game, Don.
Well, I will say this, and I don't want to get carried away with talking about the run game, but the run game actually showed up on Saturday, and Stephen Carr had a really nice performance. A couple of changes in the offensive line may have affected that run game a little bit or helped the run game. Zach Carpenter moved into the starting lineup at right guard. They moved Matthew Bedford over to the left guard position. And actually, the run game was effective through a good portion of the contest. Donovan McCulley adds a little bit to the run game because he's got great legs and can run the football. For a 6'5" guy, the guy is fast and he's strong. At 215, looks like he can take a pop and hang in there. So some really positive things from an offensive standpoint in this ball game. The throwing portion of it, I'm telling you right now, Donovan McCulley has utilized Peyton Hendershot better than any of our previous two quarterbacks have at this point. Now, granted, Jack Tuttle was starting to use him a little bit too when he was in there, especially in that opening drive against Ohio State. But nevertheless, Peyton Hendershot all of a sudden has been the go-to receiver, as he should be, based on size, the speed that he has for a tight end, and the fact that he doesn't drop the football this year. Last year, of course, that was a problem for him. But now he seems to have found himself in regard to catching the football, doing it consistently, and he looks like every bit the player that we thought he would be here at Indiana. And I think, without doubt, you've got to look at this guy as the key guy in your receiving corps.
Yeah, Don, he's setting records along the way doing that. So it shows that it's very effective, and it probably helps the running game. They are helping each other. And you mentioned Stephen Carr, the biggest run of the season for him, but that big run, great to see that. They've been looking for that all year. But and getting that tight end involved, we talked earlier in the year, we'd hoped to see more of that because we knew they had some good ones, but it just didn't come to fruition. Hope it's probably a little bit too late now, but that portion of the game definitely looked a lot better on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, no question. And you're to be able to run and throw, it gives you more balance. Defenses can't set up for just one thing or concentrate on one aspect of the game. So there's little question in my mind that the offense this week looked probably the best it's looked all season long in any ball game, with the exception of perhaps Western Kentucky or Idaho.
Yeah, Charlie Miller joins us now. Donovan McCulley in there at quarterback, the third man up by force, but he didn't look too bad as for someone who was forced into that situation, a true freshman. Just the guy that has not gotten the number one snaps all year until here late. So you had to tip your hat to Donovan McCulley as well for stepping into that role.
Well, no question. Last week against Ohio State, he looked like a fish out of water. He was not confident. He didn't look like he was comfortable out there. He was definitely better in the second half than he was in the first when he first came into the ball game. That's why they had Grant Gremel come in, because obviously Donovan did not look like he had. Well, I don't know how much of the package that he was allowed to run in that ball game, and primarily they had him running the football against Ohio State rather than throwing it. So this past week, obviously, they made great strides, or he made great strides with his play. No question about that. No question he's the quarterback of the future at Indiana. He's 6'5", 215 pounds, can run, has a rocket arm. He's just going to keep getting better and better. And he's a great young man and very coachable.
Absolutely. Charlie, how are you doing, sir?
How you guys
saw the
doing?
game this weekend.
Hey,
Indiana losing on the road. The defense, Don, was the biggest surprise, I think, especially the secondary, who had been the stalwart of that defense and really just gave up the ghost this weekend.
I was very disappointed, to say the least. This defense has carried Indiana throughout this season. The first time that they didn't was against Ohio State. So you looked at that game as an anomaly because of how good Ohio State is offensively. But here's the thing. Against Maryland, they give up 419 passing yards. I mean, and you got two corners that are hurt. Tywan Mullen did play in this game, but briefly. He's still not 100% by any stretch of the imagination. Jalen Williams is a veteran corner who's really good and outstanding. I'm not as upset with the players, at least at this point, as I am about what I saw from a coaching perspective, because look, I know the game plan was to corner blitz, but every time Indiana corner blitzed in this ball game, Carlos Carrier is wide open for a catch. And Carlos Carrier, 6'5", 207 pounds or whatever he is, can run. And we didn't stop doing it. We continued to corner blitz, and that guy burned us all day long. This kid had 7 catches coming into this game all season long. He had 8 catches in this game for 119 yards or something like that, and absolutely burnt Indiana every single time they corner blitzed, which give credit to Tagovailoa, the quarterback, because last year when they corner blitzed, he didn't know what to do. He knew exactly what he was going to do with the football in this ball game every time Indiana corner blitzed, and we didn't stop doing it.
Yeah, the lack of making that adjustment was really mind-boggling because it continued to happen. Like you said, it was like, okay, guys, you see this. It's like they just were comfortable dropping back into a deep zone and letting everything underneath. But that bend but don't break, they broke, and they broke too much. So that's going to be something they have to get fixed. But obviously, the season is really in peril now anyway, because you have no margin for error as far as bowl eligibility. With a road game coming up at Michigan, road game coming up at Purdue, you can't lose any more out. It's going to be tough sledding for the Hoosiers.
Well, I don't even want to talk about a bowl game at this point because there's no sense in talking about it. The only way you can go to a bowl now is to beat Michigan,
at Michigan,
Rutgers, Minnesota, and Purdue. And you got to do 2 of those things on the road against Michigan and Purdue. And Purdue is playing their best football in several years at this point in the season because they have kind of slid at the end of years, and they're now getting stronger. And you're going to face a Minnesota team that very well could be fighting for the Western Division Conference Championship because they're right there with Wisconsin. And Rutgers is a team that's gotten much improved over a year ago. So I don't know why you would be talking about anything other than one game at a time. And you have got to beat Michigan this week to keep any of those hopes alive.
Yeah, and Michigan has been playing pretty well. I thought they were going to win the game that they actually lost to Michigan State. And that's another mind-boggling thing. We see Michigan State and Cincinnati still continuing to go flying high, where both those games were games I thought Indiana should have won in those contests. So it makes you just really scratch your head and like, daggone, a season that could have been that has really gone off the rails.
Well, Charlie, I've got to bring you into this conversation because I'm sick of talking about it. So go ahead.
No, I was always taught if you have nothing good to say, don't say it at all.
That's why he's being quiet.
Don't say it at all.
Well, how was your weekend then? Let's have a good conversation with Fish. How was your weekend?
I mean, weekend was great. I mean, it was Halloween weekend, right? So I dressed up as a lame coach. I was a coach. So it was like this. I was a coach, but it's just so heartbreaking, to be honest with you. I mean, Don, I feel for you, man. I mean, the optimism you have to have going into even the coaching show. I mean, just the optimism. I feel for you because man, that's tough. I mean, and I said this. Now, think about this. Indiana football was like Northwestern basketball for me in the 90s. It was a guaranteed win. I don't care how bad we played. I don't care who we lost to. We had Northwestern on the schedule. That was going to be a good game for me. We were going to win. You just look forward to those type of games. Right. Unfortunately, man, it's just, they're just at a place and space, I think, where you just don't have any momentum. And I don't know if the coaches are poor as far as in-game adjustments. I think they're doing all they can do. I just think you're at a place where you're not getting the breaks. You're not getting the possessions. One thing's led to another. As far as poor performance, I know those guys are prepared. It's just you're in a funk. You just are at a funk. Injuries at your major position quarterback. Great adjustment this week. I definitely would say great adjustment. But, I mean, it's just unfortunate what they could have been to what they're actually producing.
And Don, that brings up the question of managing the team's mental state now from here on out. I would think that's kind of, I think, would be more important now. They've got to keep these guys from getting too far down.
Yeah.
Well, I that's the question I ask every week now. I ask every week Tom Allen on our talk show. I ask him every week what the mentality of your football team is. And right now, I can't see that it's positive in any way, shape, or form. I mean, these kids keep talking it. I mean, I literally interviewed the starting center, Dylan Powell, after the ball game on Saturday, and he was as positive as you could possibly be. So when you talk to the kids, at least when you talk to them, they give you the right answers. But are the right answers what they're actually feeling? And does it translate into how they practice? Yeah. Tom Allen keeps saying that they practice hard, they're focused, they're resilient, all those kinds of things. But we're not seeing the results in the football field. And obviously the results on the football field magnify whether you feel good or you feel bad. Those things absolutely magnify dramatically how you go about your business. And it does the same thing with a fan base. I mean, the fan base just sees what happens on the field. They don't see what's happening in practice. They don't see how hard these guys are working. They're just sitting there going, what has happened to this football team? And that's the struggle right now that we're all having. And you got to feel for the coaches and you feel for the players in that regard, because these guys had tremendous expectations just like we had of them.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think how far back I got to go years-wise, which not that far. But, I mean, it's been a few years since we've had to look at the team in this manner, because they've either been on the rise or were there and coming and losing close games. And so we got to go back some seasons before this type of situation was with them. And so hopefully they don't fall back into that and maintain that forward positive motion, because they've got a lot of good things coming. Hopefully they can get through this season. Now, bowl season, we said, let's forget about that. You have to manage the season, as you said, one game at a time now to get through this season with a positive mentality, I guess.
Well, here's the story. You got a Michigan team that you're going to face this week. Michigan State knocks them off at Michigan State this past weekend. Michigan's going to be mad. They're going to be upset. They're going to go out there and going to try to pound Indiana. That's what they do anyway, because their strength is their run game. They start 3 tight ends. I mean, I looked at their starting lineup last week. They start 3 tight ends because they're trying to run the ball down your throat. Now, to Indiana's credit, I actually think that may help Indiana a little bit if they don't throw it, based on what we saw this past week, because we couldn't stop the passing game of Maryland. And hopefully Indiana figures out what the problem is there. Hopefully Tywan Mullen's back. I'd like to see Reese Taylor back. I don't know if that's going to happen. And we may see Jack Tuttle or Michael Penix back this week. That's also a possibility. Not that we need Donovan McCulley to be out of the lineup, because right now he did a terrific job last week in making a tremendous jump in his performance from the first time out there to the second time out there. So those are all positive things. And maybe the changes they made in the offensive line has helped as well, with Zach Carpenter getting in there at the 1 guard spot, Katie out, and putting Bedford at the other guard spot. I don't know. All I can tell you is the run game was better this week than it was any other time so far this year. The passing game was very good under McCulley. It's still not perfect, but it's definitely there. And you keep hitting Hendershot, I think you got pluses going at that point. I'm not so sure they shouldn't put A.J. Barner in the lineup and throw to him too, because they talk about him like he's a tremendous athlete and he's a terrific player. I'm not so sure you don't go to your tight ends because our wide receivers don't separate. They struggle to separate from defensive players. So honestly, at this juncture, I would try a lot of different things at this point. What do you have to lose?
Exactly. It's that time of year. I know you've got the coaches show coming up again this Wednesday at 7:05, Southern Stone Restaurant, right?
Yep, 7:05 on Wednesday night with Coach Allen. And then our first Inside IU basketball show is next Monday night with Mike Woodson. And obviously the first Indiana basketball game this year, official game season, will open on Tuesday of next week. So we're 9 or 8 days away from basketball season officially getting underway.
And not only that, today, Mr. Clowney is making his decision as well. So we'll know about that later on today. So all kinds of basketball starting to squeeze into here, Don. So it's about time for double duty for you.
Yep, it's going to be a very busy month of November, to say the least.
Well, man, we can't tell you how much we appreciate you talking to you each week and look forward to doing it again. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Don. Appreciate you, brother.
The great Don Fischer joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio as he does each week. And we'll be back with more. Charlie Miller joining us right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Whether it's a celebration. Hey, Charlie, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Jim?
Good.
Hey, there is a chance our special guest could show up after we come back.
That's all right.
Throw that out there. We broke a little early, but
just bring him in whenever
try to figure out how many. Were you going to ask him if he does show up, how long he wants to go?
No, not if it depends on how it comes. But
Okay.
I have an idea anyway, so we're good.
Okay, perfect.
How was your weekend, Charlie?
It's good, man. Just some court time. It's court time and Halloween yesterday. It was.
Oh yeah.
Was in the neighborhood, just walking and.
Did you dress up for real?
No, I mean I just put on literally a one of my shirts.
Coach and whistle, yeah.
Yeah, and so we had like it was like my niece was a trainer, she was an athletic trainer, my son was a football player, my daughter was a cheerleader, and my wife was the referee. So we were like the squad, I guess you want to call it.
I do the same thing every year. If I go to a Halloween party, I put on my cowboy stuff, the cowboy hat, put on one of my shirts that has all the sponsors on it, a number on the back, of boots and spurs. I pull it all out of the closet, and I'm like, oh, yep, this is easy.
Exactly. I wanted to keep it simple, man. I was on a court pretty much all day in the morning, so it's like, let me keep this simple.
Oh man, yeah, this medicine's got me whacked. These lights. Hot. Oh. Whew.
You hear anything about the scrimmage? You didn't hear anything about
yes,
it?
we'll talk about that.
Thank
you for bringing that up. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I saw some stats from our good friend Rick Bozich.
Yeah, and also
can you pull that tweet up? Pull that tweet up.
Like as a photo?
Yeah.
I don't know that I can do that, but I can.
Well,
you're probably better off just reading it actually, because I can't. It's not like it's something like a crop.
Gotcha.
Let me go ahead and bring it back in from break.
Part of the Rivals Network. TheHoosier.com is where you'll find complete coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, as well as coverage of the Big Ten. Simply go to TheHoosier.com and sign up. It's free. You can also catch Indiana Sports Beat Radio there each day at your convenience, or you can find it any place you podcast or on this station each weekday. If we're not on the station where you live, we should be for Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
This segment is brought to you by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Welcome back. It is a Monday. It looks like a nice one out there as well, too. Charlie, how was your weekend, my friend?
Oh man, it was a great weekend. No travel, stayed home. Just local things for me with players training on the court. Yesterday was Halloween, so as I said before, we had it was lame. It was just like kind of easy for us. I was a coach. My 5-year-old son was a football player. He might have helped the team out, and probably defense end this year.
I mentioned earlier we have Mr. Clowney making his decision today, and the word on the street has been that it's Alabama, and I kind of, whenever the last visit is to a school, that's always my first thought. So
you also got to keep in consideration that's close to home. So
exactly.
it might be something. Yeah, it might be something where parents can come see them play. That's a big play for coaches. Hey, your parents can come see, watch you play. It's only hours away. You go everywhere else, they got to fly. So that's a big deal.
And then also over the weekend, the secret scrimmage took place down in Louisville at the Yum Center between Indiana and Belmont. And our good friend of the show, Rick Bozich, he was able to get some numbers. He thought the magic number was 11. Indiana won by 11. They were 11 of 11 on the free throws, which means they weren't calling much. If you only shot 11 free throws for a whole game, but that's good that they made them all. So let's see, 8 of 23 from distance. Not too bad. But they were out rebounded by Belmont by 8. That is a little discouraging to see without knowing the full deal on it. But Indiana doesn't have Michael Durr playing, so you don't know how much Logan Duncan played. So if you only got the 2 bigs going, not sure how that be nice to see it, but there's the numbers. So, but a win is a win is a win, and that gives them 3 wins in 3 games as a team. So that's got to be a positive feeling going in, and so it seems to be all positive. So it's hard to talk about a game that you didn't see, that you have scant numbers about, but you have to think it's a positive.
Well, just reading between the lines, though, you wonder if the lack of rebounding or the loss of the rebound column, is that a testament to the new style of play? Is that
I had that wrong. They did out rebound Belmont.
I thought so. So. They out rebounded. I was gonna say, I think it was like 32 to something, right? Like we.
Yeah. My bad.
Okay. All right. I thought we had the rebound edge. From what I saw.
That was my fault. I read that.
All good.
I read that incorrectly.
All good.
Yeah.
All
so.
Good.
But so that's so it's all positives then. So and so actually that's more of a positive from what I was saying. You didn't have Michael Durr. Don't know how much if Logan Duncan got to play much at all. So to be able to do that with just the 2 bigs, you probably got a lot of guys like Miller Copper, the wings getting involved in. But I wish they would let the media into those games.
It was like I think it was like 2 or 3 players, and they unnamed who did not play. But I think you pretty much had a healthy squad out there. Who knows who you held back and why, but I think this is great momentum. I tell you what, it's a personal thing for me because my son is at a Division III school, and Belmont is who they play in the next coming weeks as one of their first games. So it's pretty cool to know that we just played them, and my son's going to play one of their 2 preseason games against Belmont.
There you go, Michael Durr and Tamar Bates.
There we go.
So to not have Tamar in that game as well, he's one of their key offensive figures. So to do that without him, without both of those guys, I think that's just a lot of positive for this team after the 2 wins in the Bahamas, which were way early on. I'm still more impressed by the 2 wins in the Bahamas personally, because that was against a team. That was against a real team that is a team. It's not a team that's put together. It's a semi-pro team. It's a team that had played together. And for Mike Whitson to take a patchwork team down that soon and to do that, I was like, "Ooh, that's he's got some clay to work with there."
And you got a lot of motivation too. You got to think about that. You got a lot of motivation. You have a lot of change. And I think always change is positive in the early phases of things. So excitement, they're biting at the chumps. They want to get out there and play. You're in Bahamas, by the way, too. I mean, yeah, you're in Bahamas. I mean, so a lot of awesome things to really start off, I would say, the season as they have. So it's pretty impressive, pretty cool to see.
Kind of waiting for a special guest to join here. I'm gonna
Nice.
a little surprise, hopefully this morning, but if we can get
Nice.
them on. John, let them know they can join whenever. If you send a message to them. But looking forward to that. And then, of course, we're getting closer and closer, as Don mentioned, to basketball season, where the coaches show, Mike Whitson show, starts next week, and then November 9th, we're off and running. So 8 days away, basically a week out from basketball season. And then we've got the decision coming from Clowney today, like I said, and a lot of things going on. So a lot of attention going to be turned towards the round ball.
Yeah, and the great thing about what I love about now, being on this side as a coach and understanding recruiting a little bit more in depth, it's a next man up. I mean, you hope, the kid's going to make his decision, but
Hey, there he is. Thank you, sir.
Oh, nice.
Happy birthday, Charlie. It's not even your birthday, but happy birthday.
Oh, look at that.
It's a great link. So I got to thank Dane
Charlie,
a lot for doing this.
Man.
Charlie, it's your birthday?
No, it's not. But it was,
Hey, I feel like it again, man. I appreciate that, man. How you been, man?
Charlie he has this face that stays 20.
Man, I tell you what.
Body
I
as well,
appreciate
man.
that.
He's out there working with those kids every day.
Yeah, that
I
voice
appreciate
sounds
it, man.
voice sounds hoarse, Charlie. It sounds a little crusty this
Hey,
morning.
come on, man.
Yelling
Listen.
too much.
Hey, well, who would I get it from?
That's a good point.
Dane, first of all, thank you for taking time to join us. I know mornings are very busy for you, and you guys are just like we were talking to Don Fischer a minute ago. Season's only a week away, so you guys are out and busy this weekend. I know you guys had the secret scrimmage, which sounds like it went very well down in Louisville against Belmont. Things seem to be going very positively, man.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, Jim, and good to see you too. I tell you what, Coach Woodson, and I give the credit to him because he's put the whole group together and willing to take this shot. For someone that's he's done so many things that he just doesn't talk about. I'm talking about Coach Woodson. He just doesn't self-promote. He talks in third person, but he's not self-promoting. He's done so many things, but all those things he's able to translate to our players because he seems to be just a big believer in life skills. It's life skills, and the life skills, correlate to success on the court, and also obviously life skills are in order to, they're being reinforced to help our players off the court. But it all works hand in hand, and that's
nice.
I know that's a little deep, but Charlie, I know you can appreciate it because you're working with young people every day.
I was going to say that's right up Charlie's alley, man. That sounds exactly
I mean,
like
you're speaking. You're not only speaking language, Dan, but that's what it's about. And I think as a former player, there's a compassion and a empathetic spirit that it feels like even the way you talk about him, I could tell how he's affected you. Right. Yeah. I mean, and you've been around some great coaches. I mean, and having an opportunity, I think to me, you're showing humility and where you were as a coach, as an assistant at Michigan State to do the things you're doing, man. So, I mean, I'm excited about the future, not necessarily the wins and losses, but the impact, like we know about the impact moving forward, still got to win, play, but I hear it in your voice, man. And I appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, Charlie. We have a chance, as former players at Indiana, we've got all that. but what we really have a chance to do is to set this program up for the next 50 years.
Yes, sir.
So when Charlie's face decides to develop a wrinkle, you can talk to your grandkids about it. But that, to me, I think that's where we have to reinstill the values that drew guys like Charlie Miller, Dane Fife from out of state, but obviously the Indiana kids.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to get to reinstill those values that draw families in.
That's right.
That draw people that understand, the values that essentially young people understand the values that they want to associate with. And that's where I was drawn in. And Charlie, I don't want to speak for you, but I felt like that was something that drew you in besides the aura of Indiana basketball.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was the values that I didn't understand. Right. I didn't understand.
Right.
Didn't understand.
Right.
But then at the same time, coming from Miami, I saw it as a way out. Not saying it was too bad, but it was something in me. Even when I visit, and we're going to talk about this, hopefully, even when I visited, your family and the relationship that my high school coach had with your dad, it was, man, I want to do something different. I want to go somewhere where it's about family or orientation. It was about development. Yeah. And it was a way out. And it was like a fish out of water, pun intended, because it's like, why are you going so far up? Because I want to see something different in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to get somebody right on South Miami.
I'm able fortunate to talk to some of the recruits sometimes and their families. That's already coming across. That is something that has come across in abundance here of late, whomever we're talking to. And it's refreshing to see that, but it's also that they know it's more about basketball, but it's not just basketball here. It's a basketball state. It's in Indiana. So when you add that other element to it, that just magnifies that tenfold.
Jim, that's a really good point too. Right out of the gate, we were jumping on Zooms with recruits and their families. And we had this 45 to an hour presentation, and 99% of it was fluff. But then Coach Woodson just said, okay, now Mom, Dad, and he was talking to Tamar Bates. And the way he spoke to the parents and their son, I'm just like, I'm listening, and we're on a Zoom, and I'm just like, bam, we got the kid. How could he say no? And it wasn't because he was selling. He just said, Mom, Dad, and he has no idea how to lie and politic. He just, because in the NBA, you can't with players.
That's right.
He just, and he'll make mistakes. Like, nope, Coach, we can't do that. Well, what? Nope, Coach, can't do that. No, Coach, can't say dorms. Dorms are bad. We need luxury condos. Just say apartments. But he just spoke to the family in a way.
Jackson Heights.
Yeah. Varsity Bills. And I just,
exactly.
It took 10 seconds. Like, we got him. He says, Mom, Dad, your son sitting right there. I got him. We will take what you've done and built and just help him all the way to your goals and your dreams and how you want to envision raising a son. And it just it was so real, and it because it's
every bit as genuine. It comes across as 1,000%.
He doesn't know how to lie. He doesn't know the ins and outs of how to duck and dodge and weave and politic in a day and age where you can lie and it's absolutely okay. It's families are still looking, kids are still looking for that too, I think.
That's awesome. And all the while building a good program back here at Indiana, and which looks like they're already on the way to doing that. The recruiting, man, it's changed so much now with the transfer portal, Dane, and all of that stuff. How has that changed for you guys? But it seems like Indiana is still recruiting the old-fashioned way. They're recruiting players. They're recruiting for the future, not looking to the transfer portal for that. Actually trying to develop their own players is what it seems from the outside.
Well, and it is a delicate balance because, by and large, somebody's transferring for reasons that generally aren't good. Now, that's not all of them. But in addition, we've got to be able to gauge the high school players that we recruit. When are they gonna, Coach Woodson was laughing at me the other day because I was talking about a high school kid. I said, he's a pro. He's like, huh? And he literally thought I was saying he's a pro right now because he's thinking green at all this. And so we have to be able to kind of take wild guesses and project when they're actually going to become pros if they do. And that speaks to kids leaving early and where are we at? How many scholarships? And so the transfer portal, I think the negatives are still plentiful. I do think a positive, though, is, well, we're not out of the game yet. There's still the transfer portal. We can go out and get another big, or we can get another guard that can provide something for our program.
How much fun are you having personally? I mean, this has got to be a blast for you. I mean, I know it's a lot of hard work. Don't get me wrong.
Thanks, Jim.
A ton of hard work.
It's grueling.
It is.
It's grueling.
It actually, hey, being a coach of any sport is a hard work. There's no doubt. But,
look,
but you have to. But it's when you love it. It's. I guess it certainly relieves a lot of the hard work. I guess you could say.
Well, the issues still remain. Yes, I love Indiana basketball. I love being here. I'm honored to be working for Coach Woodson. I'm honored to be back where, these were my dreams, and I'm back, and I'm excited. But family is still the pull, So love it, yeah, to an extent,
That's right.
And the family, my family it's still an everyday pull. Every day at 6:30, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I have to be present with my kids. My two beautiful daughters. And
how old are they? Like 8 or 9 or something?
Yeah, 9 and 11. No,
9
8
and
and 11.
9 and 11.
We went trick or treating with Dr. Hornsby last night.
I was just going to ask you, did you dress up?
I did. I wore a mask for a second. I started to get more attention from people because apparently my looks were more appealing, so I took the mask off.
Nice.
It was a little distracting.
Charlie went as a coach.
What's that?
Oh yeah, it was lame.
Charlie he went as a coach. He really.
I went as a coach.
Coach Miller. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, Coach Miller. It was just lame. Hey, how has coming back been for you? Now in the locker room with a different shirt on. Now in the other locker room.
Yeah, not the.
You know I'm going. How has that been for you, man?
Well, the speaking with conviction is really easy.
Yeah, right.
Not having to fake, and I didn't fake anywhere I've been, but I don't know. There's a different feeling internally when I speak.
Right.
And I don't speak with reckless abandon generally, but it just comes out passionate no matter what. And I sometimes, man, that sounded really good. I wonder if Trace heard that the way I should.
The way he came off.
But it still really comes down to, because Charlie, you understand this, Jim, maybe with your softball team back in '79, co-ed,
not quite that old, but
it still comes down to, Charlie, and you're working heavy with this right now, is nothing matters when you're dealing with young people. Nothing really matters except their current problems, each individual's current problems, which may not even be about basketball.
You're right.
Basketball is usually the center of it, unfortunately, but we're dealing with young people that, you know what, they may say winning a championship's important, the most important thing to them here, but
right.
They got right now, the most important thing to them is their girlfriend just dumped them, or they didn't get enough shots in the game last night, and so we've got to be cognizant of that at all times. And I know you're working hard with that, Charlie. And
well, now the way you speak about it, I don't know if we could speak about it that easy 15, 20 years ago. You had those off-court issues. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong. Everything is great, right? But I think
Yeah.
But the openness now, but what you just spoke to was the relationship you guys have. Because because I think for me, we had the head games with coaches.
Yeah.
Especially to me with the coach Knight. I think he was the head master.
Yeah, the pull and the pushing the pull and the prod. Yeah.
It was the head game. But see, I think now with relationships and how you spoke family first, it's now they're letting you in your heart. Now you get to know these guys.
Yes.
Right. You're getting to know, and it sounds like you know them. So it's okay to get at somebody in a positive way because you know what's going on with them. So they're going to let you. What is it a lie about? There's nothing to lie about.
That's exactly right. It's when you have
what's going on with me. Yes.
When you have that kind of conviction, it's really easy in terms of, okay, I'm going to go at this kid, and you said in a positive way. When you go at them, they generally don't hear it.
Don't hear it exactly.
But the positive, there's the positive in the long run. I think too. These kids and Charlie. I remember this. Think about this. The one game I didn't play in was at Purdue my freshman year. And Charlie, you know my dad. He's similar to Knight in a way that he demands.
Right.
And he was so mad. You got to transfer. You got to get out of there. And I said, hang on, Dad. I've been practicing terrible, man. Come to practice. Even my own dad that was a college coach, high school, dealt with parents a million times. And so my point is that there's so many people in these kids' heads. That's normal, and it's always been that way. But now you have the social media where one dweeb, even from maybe another school, says, man, they're not using Charlie Miller right. Charlie Miller needs more shots. Think about that, how it impacts a kid. And if the kid chooses to believe it instead of, understanding what's going on, the truth, that's like a sliver of trust you lose a little sliver of trust between coach and player, like the coaches and the players. Like, maybe they're not getting me enough shots, because Jerry from Fort Wayne said so. Right. Yeah, you said it. Yeah, you said it. And I think it's, you got the social media element. And also I think you have, even going into the recruiting process, it like what you said earlier about this particular kid, he's a pro. You're already hearing that. Yeah. Now you have so many other avenues that I can become a pro. I can go overseas and not look frowned upon. I can play in the G League. I can put my name in overtime elite. I have all these avenues, that to me now becomes really instead of saying the elite's path of resistance, like the most. And I can't do wrong, but like I love what you said. Come watch me practice, man. I'm not practicing well. Yeah. I don't deserve this playing time. Come watch film. Don't just right. And that's just the honesty behind it all. Yeah. Right. And I so appreciate that, man. That's awesome. That sounds profound, but I just couldn't believe really what it was is a defense mechanism. I didn't like seeing my parents so upset.
Right. Understood.
But I didn't want them to. I was trying to act. I really didn't want. I didn't want to. I was scared I was nervous to go in. That game was intense, and at Purdue, Brian Cardin, it was so intense, and I wanted to go in for ego, and just hope and pray something good happens. But I was scared to death.
So Jim,
you always made good things happen. Go ahead, Charlie.
This is what I love about Dane. See. Coaches that are vulnerable like this. I mean, and man, I want to just vulnerable coaches like this.
Thank you.
How can a player not tell you, man, coach, I'm scared too, man. Coach, can you help me with that? Coach, man, I'm scared, coach. What do I now we're talking real-time development.
Yeah.
We're not talking that passe real-time development. That vulnerability right there is making Dane who he is, who he's learning from now in Coach Woodson ways. That's why I said there's a humility that has to come in from a Dane's perspective. To me, Dane's a head coach. Man, I don't want to talk to your head. He's a head coach at Division I level, whatever he wants to do. But to take this stance and be this open, it's only but authenticity going on in that locker room. It's only, let's keep it real in that locker room. It's only, I don't have to be positive. I'm going to tell you like it is, and you're going to take it, and you're going to get better from it.
Yeah.
Man, I love that. That's who I known Dane to be.
Yeah.
And just understanding his family's dynamic. I was very fortunate. I think I was a junior in high school, Dane. Want to be a senior? What grade you in? 7th, 8th grade, or
I think 6th, 7th grade.
6th grade. Here it is. This, my coach, high school coach, went to school with Dane's dad. We're from Miami, Florida, so I'm at University of Michigan's camp. I'm over in Ann Arbor learning about pop for the first time in sacks. What the hell is a sack? What's a sack? Like a brown bag?
Yeah.
I ordered a soda for one of the dorms. I got a freaking float. I got a root beer. What the hell is this? I want a pop. The hell is this? So all of a sudden, Coach Funk, my high school coach, Charlie Funk, says, hey, you're going to go to ABCD camp. And oh, by the way, you're going to stay the night with the Fifes. I'm like, okay, all right. Just got me going anywhere, man. What the hell are you doing, coach? So I roll up. We go scrimmage one day. We go to the high school. I'm not sure if you remember this.
Oh, Charlie, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. We go to the high school. We play. And I stayed the night at your house, man. This is it's mind-blowing to understand Jeremy here in Dallas. And I just got a chance to meet him 3-4 years ago. And he's been in Dallas for a long time.
Yeah.
That's Dane's oldest brother. I got a really good block against Dugan. I got to take credit for that.
Dugan still is a little bitter with Charlie. She claims Charlie gave him a hip pointer.
Hey, I might have. Hey, it was one of those.
On that block. I don't know. I'll have to look at the replay.
Love it. Hey, it was a steal. Dugan stole the ball.
Charlie pinned him.
I came half court, pinned him. Left-handed block, right-handed player, easy block. For me at least.
No doubt.
Easy
That's
block.
easy
Easy
play,
block. Yeah, no, but you just, again, the family history we have, and also your cousins, Todd Murray, Andrew Murray, your cousins. I've trained your little cousins. So it's so funny. I'm in Dallas, and there's a Fife Charlie Miller connection.
Right.
That's just, but again, it's made me piece of who I am because of what I've been around and what I've saw.
Yeah. That was neat when Charlie walked in our gym. He looked like a player. And
Appreciate it,
you
man.
just did, man. You and then I was in what I remember about it, Charlie, was humble and the humility you had.
I appreciate it, man.
Dugan was at that. I think Dugan's older than you.
Yeah, Dugan's 2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
But Jim, here comes this guy. Now understand something. We're a suburb of Detroit. We're kind of on the northern edge of this Detroit urban sprawl. All Caucasian. And Charlie comes in, and the town stopped, like in a good way, like because we were a basketball sports town, but it was like the town stopped for like 2 days. This kid, and you know what it was? It was this kid's being recruited by Indiana. I guess Indiana's offered him. And it was a unique experience for me because I just thought, man, and then you go to Indiana, and I just thought this is Indiana. He just, why am I surprised? I'm not surprised. Right. How he acts, how he treats people. It was it left quite it was just kind of like maybe the third tier there where Hoosiers, and then Indiana wins the national championship, and then Charlie Miller comes in and he's going to Indiana. It's like he's larger than life. And so it was, but the impression you made on me, and I don't even mean to make it a love fest, but you went down this road, and it just, I think that's kind of to circle back to what Coach Woodson's about.
Yeah, man.
It's really what makes this program pretty good.
Yeah, man.
Obviously is the people, but I think more importantly, the values that we represent. And we're not perfect. Yeah. We're not. We make big mistakes, not life-changing mistakes, hopefully, but we make mistakes. But the values are still what we want, and it's our job as coaches to instill those, so they can pass it on.
Well, and you can hear that, and especially in the players we talk to, the parents we talk to, that is being reflected. And that's why I was going to ask in coming back. And Mike Woodson's here, and at Hoosier Hysteria, you've got Isaiah Thomas, and seeing all three of you guys in candy stripes at the same time, that had to be a really cool thing for the fans, because most of the fans had never seen one of the three in that situation. But being a part of getting Indiana back to where it was, how you're doing it, that's got to be just a sweet reward in and of itself.
You know, when Isaiah came back, we practiced in the morning of Hoosier Hysteria. It was a light practice, but Isaiah talked to the team. And I've got it on recording. I'll have to ask Isaiah. And we didn't have any film crews in there or anything. I just said, grabbed one of our managers. I said, record this. And Isaiah, I don't want to call it a speech because it was from the heart. It was unbelievable. And Kenya Hunter, one of the other assistants here, said it brought him to tears. And I was thinking the same thing. I mean, I had to kind of turn. It was just so powerful, just how he spoke to the team and what this program means to him and his relationship with Coach Woodson. And that's really, Charlie, what needs to happen a lot more, whether it's from Isaiah or Charlie or me.
Yeah. I hear you.
These players, and I say this because I was able to recognize it at Michigan State. It makes our job as coaches selfishly so much easier when it doesn't. Isaiah obviously is Isaiah, but you know, if Richard Mandeville comes back,
that's right.
He doesn't have to give that kind of speech, but just learn about these players. Let them know you give a damn, and that pushes. It's kind of an added wind. It's a strong and it really is what sustains a program. You know, when times are tough. And that's what, when this job came open, I said, look, I want the job. Absolutely. But more importantly, it has to be a former player. And I have my reasons, and we could talk all day about it, but there's plenty of good coaches out there that deserve to take a stab at this.
But having former players, and to have more than one is amazing, because it's not just former players, it's different generations under different styles, which has to be a 2-for-1 for these players. And then you've added a couple of guys, like I said, Coach Ya and Kenya, who are doing an incredible job, and obviously relating with these players as well in an incredible. It just seems like such a great mix of everything. You probably would not want 4 former players on the staff. So having a couple of guys who were not but are learning, and to see them get to feel what you guys are feeling, it has to be just exploding from the inside out.
You know, it's funny. Coach Woodson hired one person. Let's say there's a staff of 10. He hired one person that he's met before. And you know, think about that. One person. I'd never met him. And none of us have. I mean, but he did his research. And you know, I guess in the NBA, sometimes you don't hire your own staff. So he's used to that, but that's not who he is. Like, that's not, I'm pointing over there to Coach. He's that way. That's not who he is. And I don't know that anybody would be like that, but in college, I don't know about the pros, but in college, you have to have a staff that you can trust to make the right decisions and to have your back. I know probably the same in any business, but the recruiting aspect, and then the dealing with kids, but dealing with parents, you have to have that. He must have some type of what do they call it, an equation or algorithm to figure that out. But all he really speaks about is, you know, to sum it up, is character. I mean, I want men or people working with me that have good character. I don't know how you do that without doing your research.
Well, for me, anybody that comes out to, I love it when you call him Big Papa. He has big trust. That's just big trust.
I don't think. I think they had to help him with that. He was probably thinking of coming out to Luther Vandross.
I didn't know if that was. Yeah, I didn't know if that was. I didn't know if that was like New York led or something. Because I'm like, man, it's been. Was he around that rapper?
He takes a lot of crap from Jan Kenya.
Yeah.
These guys, they humble him every day with his clothing, his music, his goatee.
Yeah. How was
he's the coolest cat in the room though. He's
smooth.
Always. He cracks me up. I've been fortunate to talk to him at Big Ten Media Days and the genuineness, there's nothing else other than that. It's just that's who he is.
He probably learned from Clyde. What's his name from New York? The best player that Nixon ever had. Yeah, he probably learned from. He's around for a long time. Got a chance to meet him too. He's a smooth guy. How was the game this weekend, man? What you want? I mean, what I guess what you can't talk about. How was? Yeah. You know, how was?
We can talk about.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. I tell you what. We made 11 for 11 free throws, which isn't a lot of free throws, but we've struggled in that area in the years past.
Okay.
We were, last year we were -3 rebounding like that. Like with Trace and Race, that's
right.
Size wise, Jordan Geronimo, Mike Durr, Logan Duncombe. We got some big, strong wings. It should never happen. And so, from the Izzo, I'm from the Izzo way of, and Coach
bang the boards,
Coach
right?
Knight wasn't much different.
Right.
You can't get out rebounded.
Right.
And really, I think where kids struggle, they don't put a lot of precedent in, is free throws. I mean, there's a lot of free throws nowadays, and games are tight. There's not high scoring. If you get above the 70s, you're pretty dang good. And the one thing we shot well in the first half from three. We didn't shoot so well in the second half. We were 5 for 10 from three in the first half. I think 2 for 12 in the second half, but
might be 3, right? 3 for 12, something like that.
Yeah, still pretty good. Or not pretty good. Still, what do the analytics say? Over 33% is good. We out rebounded them. Let's see what else. Turnovers. But they were just some things that we as coaches think we can fix just with a couple spacing issues. A lot of them. I think about 8. And then we're really putting an emphasis on screening. So we got some screening fouls, which is a good thing because we got to get Mr. Jackson Davis setting the screen, making laying some wood on somebody a little more often.
Good. Okay, well, good.
He was
good.
Trace
That's good. Good to hear. Good to hear.
Well, Dane, man, I don't want to keep you all morning. I know you have got a busy day, but I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to come on. It is always a pleasure just to get to talk to you. And anytime you can come back just to talk, we don't have to talk hoops. We just love having you on because it's a blast having you and Charlie converse, man. And I know Charlie was looking forward to it. He didn't know about it because he had said that he hadn't got to talk to you.
Surprise, Charlie, you got me.
No, man, I love it, man. You got to understand, man. You were a part of my heart, dude. I mean, I don't like to be soppy, dude, but like, hey, your dad, I mean, influenced me a great deal, man. So,
really,
it means a lot to me. Yeah, come on, man.
That's good to hear.
I appreciate that. Man. I mean, that's a big man. Listen, sorry, taking somebody in. I mean, who knows the arrangement that was talked about, discussed, but I thought that was a big deal for me. I still talk about to this day like it just happened yesterday. I'm always talking about.
So I'm like 2 generations removed from Coach Knight and my dad's era. So I like to say, like Izzo, like Judd and Knight, and
right,
we're one generation, and Izzo's the next generation, and now I'm behind that. But my dad was way ahead of his time in terms of that, the aspect of what you and I are talking about. He wasn't necessarily the psychologist, but he understood. He's the best I've seen. He's the best I've seen at getting the most out of kids without the football mentality of screaming, badgering somebody. He's the best, and he yelled. He screamed at times, but he's the best I've seen still. And he just had a gift. He has a gift. So I appreciate you saying those things.
Yeah, man. Seriously, man. He's a developer. That's what you call me. It's what it is, right?
He put in the time with them, though, like you said.
That's right.
And their parents.
That's right.
Brother, we can't wait to have you back on during the season, like I said, just to talk and chat. And I look forward to seeing you out and about. And I hope the girls are having fun. I hope they had all kinds of fun last night. Make sure you separate the Reese's cups off to the side there. It's what I like to do with, well.
I do the Smarties.
Smarties. There you go. Smart man. But brother, I hope you have a great day. Cannot thank you enough. Like I said, really appreciate you, Dane.
Anytime, guys. Great to see you. Charlie.
Hey, man. Same here, Dane. Appreciate it, brother. Yes, sir. Thank you.
The great Dane Fife joining us, taking time to sit in with us today. Cannot thank him enough, man. He's got a busy day to get out and get started to get the Hoosiers going. But fortunate for us, we'll talk about it more when we come back on Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
We'll be right back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Hey, we all need insurance. Well, that was nothing but fun.
Oh, man, I appreciate that. I had a feeling it was, so I wanted to act surprised. Yeah, but I mean, I didn't want to.
I hadn't talked about it. I tried to do it before, so.
But the way Jim did it was kind of like a giveaway, but I didn't want to like.
Yeah.
What do you say that gave it away?
He just kept saying surprise guest. Like no damn surprise.
Yeah.
Like I know who it's gonna be, but I'm like, let me but I mean now.
Well, it could have been. I wish it would have been somebody different. That would have been funny.
No, but and then we'll talk about this later, man. It's just I talked to AJ a couple weeks ago, and it's like the things we're able to say now, 20 plus years ago, from stuff that's happened. It's like, man, I wish you'd have said those things because I needed that. I need to hear that then. but it's pretty cool, man. It's really good. And we'll talk about this later with Dane and just again the relationship that I have with his family, particularly his father, and watching
a little
Dane
update by the way, just on breaks. While we got a few minutes, or we got a minute and a half. No Jim Reamer today. Moving him to later in the week. He's got something going on. And then these last couple of breaks, do a normal one right here, go till 10:20. And then after that, the next one, I guess you can take it to whenever you want, but we just got to be done by 56. That's when the show ends today. Sometimes we forget that because we start early on Mondays, unlike any other day. And I'll remind you again towards the end.
You have to tell me that again, yeah, because that was something popped up and drew my attention.
All good.
That was nothing but awesome, though.
No, man, that was great.
And I know everybody wants to talk about the game and all that, but they can't.
Yeah, but that's what I was like. I don't know how much you could talk about because of the way it's set up. Yeah,
I'd rather just have some great conversation with him, like we did. It was awesome.
Yeah, but I'm just glad they have relevant film, and like the measurables in between what they did in Bahamas. You put some new wrinkles in, things you could practice to make better. Then you have this secret scrimmage. You got some now stuff to get ready for the 9th. So you have concrete things you can actually work on to get ready for. So that's good.
All right, here we go. Coming back.
Honda.com. Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by AAA Insurance. Now back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Hey, welcome back. If you're living in the Southwest Indiana, Southern Illinois area, make sure check out AAA Insurance. Be insured by someone who cares about you, whether it's for home, auto, renters, life insurance. Take care of those who take care of you and those who support us, bringing content to you, like the Dane Fife interview. Check out our guys, our friends at AAA Insurance, 812-477-9966 down in Southwest Indiana. Appreciate them very much. And speaking of Southern Stone Restaurant, you heard Don Fischer say the Mike Woodson show starts next Monday night, man. Mm-hmm. It's here, Charlie. Hoops. Everyone's waiting. We're about there, man. It's about to roll around the corner. Secret scrimmage we talked about earlier this weekend in Louisville. The Hoosiers taking on Belmont, winning that game by 11, I believe, out rebounding them and shooting. And Dane mentioned the free throws. This is something we brought up. Right. Wasn't a lot, but just going 11 for 11 because in these last 3-4 years, whatever it is, watching Indiana shoot free throws so unbelievably horrifically, it's all mental. All mental because I'm not a coach. Yeah. I don't know jack about coaching basketball, but I played enough and shot enough free throws to know it's just mental and repetition. And man, it would just blow my mind when they just could not get into a rhythm, because that's one of the easiest things to actually help get yourself in a rhythm is getting to the free throw line, because that's something you can control. And if you can get yourself in a rhythm there, it probably will help you elsewhere on the floor.
Yeah, you're playing solid defense. Take attitude, effort towards that. Let that start your offense. Getting to the free throw line means you're attacking, right? You're making plays happen, but then making them is just focus and concentration, like you said. So that's good to hear, right? You shoot 11 free throws, you make 11 free throws. That's great to hear. And from Dane, take this from Dane, people. He's been in the college game for 10, 15 plus years. He knows when he's talking about these games are coming down to, not necessarily that much of scoring prowess, but coming down to free throws. And you're making free throws down the stretch, that's huge.
Absolutely. Because if you're not making them in a non-pressure situation, well, it's not going to get better when that situation rolls around. So,
you don't attack the basket. I'm gonna take also from Dane. Think about if you're playing with that nervousness and that you're playing with that anxiety, you don't want to attack the basket because you don't want to shoot the free throw. It's a hand-in-hand thing, right? He stated it, and I'm gonna just continue to talk about that. That's real. For whatever reason, sometimes games are bigger than who you feel you are in those moments. You don't want that pressure because you're thinking the wins and losses is going to lie on you, which is now not really about that. You just miss a shot, you can make it back up. But that's just real.
Yeah, and you want to, I know that I would think in your head, you want to say, hey, give me the ball. I want the ball. Right. Give me the ball. Not to the point to where you're being overbearing, but you're ready. Right. You're wanting. You're exactly. Like, hey, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the shot, man. I'll take it. Right. So
I think that's makeup too, Jim. I think that's makeup. I think that's makeup of the team. Absolutely. And nothing against Coach Miller.
The whole middle.
Yep. Nothing against what we saw. And again, for me, the turnaround game for me, as far as a spiral, was when they were at Rutgers. And I saw the first half to the second half. Just kind of everything was thrown off as far as the way we played. So I think it's a new approach. You begin again, man. That's kind of what I'm hearing. It's a good thing.
Well, and as I think about some of the players, Tamar Bates, he's not afraid. Right. Xavier, he's not afraid. Miller, not afraid. Trace Jackson Davis, not afraid. I think all those guys will have that mentality. Hey, if I've got the ball, I don't mind taking that shot.
That's right. You
can't be afraid to take the shot. If Christian Watford had been afraid to take that shot, we wouldn't have that moment.
That's right.
Man, what a big moment.
That's right. That's right.
Big moment, right. But big fun. How was your weekend like? We talked a little bit about it, but I wanted you were relaxed. You didn't have to go anywhere. Was the coach.
We just
football over the weekend.
Yeah, just gearing up, man. This is kind of like for me, as I said before, really trying to get more rest. That's just just don't this is a time where it's not necessarily like we are off, but there's a lot of things I got to catch back up on, right? And it's kind of like that's now the thing for me.
Tim says, is he the only one that felt good after a loss? He felt like the fight that they had. He liked the McCulley Hendershot show. Yes. I'm going to say yes. The answer is to that, Tim. You are the only one
that
lost because the defense looked like crap. And that's against a team that is not that good. They gave up over 400 yards passing. In Indiana, their calling card has been their defense. So there's nothing to feel good about there other than McCulley. But I mean, Donovan looked good. I mean, he looked like he was better. So there's some positives, but I don't feel good after a loss.
No.
Especially now. Butt-handed. No, you had to win. It was a must-win game. Yeah. You had to win that game if you want to go bowling. So my answer is no, but that's how I feel.
No, I feel the same way. This was not a moral victory game. You needed to win this game. It was great to see the quarterback after what he did when he had to get kind of installed against Ohio State. Now he comes out and plays better, probably with a week of practice, week of reps. We should watch a film, making adjustments, but they need to win this game, like you said.
J.Q. Roberts from Bloomington North, offer from Iowa. Iowa loves to come to Indiana. I think that's who they offered someone last week. I can't remember. That is also an Indiana kid. I'm trying to remember who that was, but I can't. So I'm not going to worry about it. But Iowa loves to recruit Indiana. Well, everybody loves to recruit Indiana. I guess Iowa's kind of coming along later, but you've always had Michigan State with Dane. Michigan dips in, whether it's Kentucky, Louisville, Ohio State, Illinois, and Iowa. They're coming here. Indiana's not going to those states to recruit, are they? They're all coming because we know the product of basketball that comes out of here. But it's amazing how many Big Ten teams try to dip into the state of Indiana.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, it's close. And I mean, it's close. And the schools like Bloomington, South, North, I mean, even in Bloomington, I mean, what better story to say you came to Bloomington and you recruited somebody? That's a heck of a story, right?
I still laugh. This is probably one you don't know, Charlie, because I learned it late, not too long ago. I got Terry Stotts. Do you know who Terry Stotts is? Coaches in the NBA. I think, is he still the coach of the Trailblazers, or he was?
No, he's not. He was.
Okay. Graduate of Bloomington. Well, it was probably Bloomington High School then. If it wasn't, it was Bloomington North. But did not play at Indiana. Graduated in was an All-Star, an Indiana All-Star in 1976. Keep that date.
Yeah.
Down.
Wow.
But did not play for Indiana. Played for Oklahoma.
Right.
I'm like, how in the world does a kid from Bloomington that is an Indiana All-Star not end up at IU?
You ready?
1976.
Scott May, Quinn Buckner.
There you go.
You
and
ready?
Also there was a coach. I can't remember the coach. He was an assistant. I think he had left the season before and went to Oklahoma or at that time, and that's how he ended up there. But yeah, you talk about bad timing. I could not imagine being an all-star and not being able to play at IU, and that kind of sucks for him. He could have been on that. That's another name that could have been on that team along with Larry Bird. Larry Bird should have been on that team. How nuts is that? I mean, that would have been unequivocally the greatest assembly of talent in the history of college basketball.
Yeah, I got a great story told to me from Quinn Buckner about Larry Bird coming in the summer before their freshman year. You remember the Gus Macker?
So that means I played in it once in Wisconsin. So Larry Bird's in high school then, a senior in high school?
I think this is when he was coming here
to
Indiana.
Okay, he's going to be a freshman. All right.
Plays in the Gus Macker with cut off quarter-work jeans. Diving on the blacktop. Just going all out playing. Like he didn't know, like that story always sticks in my head. Like this guy only knew one way to play, however he played. And that to me is again the testament of who we know him to become and what he is as a former NBA player. A standout. But just that motor, man, I mean, just to have that Like
He had
that
to.
motor.
He had
Like,
to. He couldn't jump. He couldn't run. He had to. He to stand out, I guess. But man,
you got the most out of yourself. I mean, Dane talked about it. I mean, like, you know, he's learned to get the most from himself in a lot of regards to his
From day
talents
one.
and just hard work. Yeah.
but what's amazing is to be able to do that, to have the
Yeah.
mentality, especially from where he came from. You know, he didn't come from Ben Davis or
Yeah. Yeah.
Academy.
Fritz Lick.
Or
Right.
even like my high school was Fritz Lick. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a podunk school in a podunk town, and I don't mean it negatively. I'm just giving a background. No history, no basketball tradition. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling. But yeah, but you love hearing those stories. They're always fun.
Of course. Yeah, but just think about that. You get what Bird. Would Bird have been on that team? No, he would have been on.
Yes,
he would have been on. Yeah,
74.
74.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh man,
That's what's so nuts. That's what I'm saying. That's so nuts. And if you would have had Terry Stotts as well, that would have had to be the greatest assemblage of talent in the history of college basketball, without question.
Yeah.
It's amazing because what they had 5 NBA draft picks off the 76 team already.
76, yeah.
So then you got Bird, and you got Stotts, and whoever else went, but it's nuts,
man,
crazy. But it's just fun to talk about. Nuts. Let's see. We had a question here. Why does IU's offense tend to only feature Hender's shot when the playbook is scaled back for a new young quarterback and now experienced playbook? Yeah, I asked that question. I think that the staff got into a funk of a couple things. Number one, Penix was going to be the guy, no matter what. As long as he's healthy, he was going to be the guy. And so that's where the mindset was. And I think everything was geared towards that. And that they knew that they were going to get him healthy right about the time that they needed to, but they weren't expecting what we saw. Either they weren't expecting the absolute horrific offensive line play, and the not so good play from Michael himself. I don't know why. I don't know if it was one leading to the other. I don't know why the offensive line took such a step back, because they didn't lose anybody. It was the same guy's back. So it's incomprehensible for me to figure out. I can't figure it out, but I think that was the thing. He was the guy, not even Tuttle. It was going to be Penix, and so then when it was Tuttle, well, now we got to focus on him. And so, but I think this quarterback race next year is going to be absolutely unbelievable,
right?
Because Donovan McCulley, you can see him grow.
Mm-hmm.
Each half, each play. I mean, like Don talked about last week, he wasn't ready, but they had to mix him in. He got better just in the half of this last game, and that's just getting comfortable, man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, playing quarterback at a high level is one of the absolute most difficult things in sport. Period. The things that you have to do, the reads, the defenses, the this, the that, and all that at breakneck speed. And as a true freshman in the Big Ten game, yeah, that's pretty tough.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I would say this is going to be his first official game. Here's why. Michigan's going to game plan for him. Right? I mean, not saying, again, because I didn't watch the game and I'm not going off any expert advice, but think about it. A lot of times when someone's not game plan for you, coaches are making adjustments based upon what you're doing. And you are dynamic. You can take off out of the pocket. They didn't expect that. Guarantee Michigan, they're going to watch film on that. They're watching film on his tendencies. They're going to scheme for it. They're going to audible defensively. This is going to be, to me, his first official game playing against competition that he's going to have to make adjustments himself. It's going to be good to watch. But I think,
we're going to see it. Does Indiana game plan for Michigan game planning again.
Exactly.
They're going to have to be ready for that too, and counterbalance that. And that's been, I think, an area where offensively Indiana has lacked this year. I haven't seen them make a lot of in-game adjustments, and the game plans going in haven't seemed to work all that well. So they're going to have to do something different. And you've got to throw the sink at this. You're on the road at Michigan. You have no margin for error. You have nothing to lose and only everything to gain. So you have to do any and everything you can. And I don't care what it is. You got to do it this week.
Yeah. Well, my coach
take a break.
You good. My last. Okay, go. We'll come back.
No, go ahead. Make your point.
No. Well, my point was, okay, as coaches, what ends up happening is simply this. So you're going to go off your opponent's last game and their vulnerability areas. What did Michigan State do well against Michigan? That's what they're going to try to poke holes at. That's what they're going to drop plays up at. That's what they're going to game plan for. And you hope that we can take advantage of what Michigan State did to Michigan. We hope that we can do the same thing. But sometimes it comes down to personnel to be able to do that. So we can continue to talk about that point later.
That's a smart coach. And we'll be right back. Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by our good friends at AAA Insurance in Southwest Indiana, right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
If you're in the market for
John, how's your podcast going, man?
Even though the season's not going well and everything, the podcast, I feel like, gets better and better each week, so that's good.
Like you say, you just press start.
Yep, just press start. And Dustin's a great co-host. He helps out. He does a lot of provides a lot of good knowledge on the other teams.
Good. What time is Clowney supposed to make his decision?
5:00.
Okay.
I know I had to look that up earlier too, but I couldn't find it until I did some digging.
Yeah, it's amazing now that the decision is, what we ridiculed LeBron after. Now it's like,
isn't next year LeBron James' kid is in the recruiting class, isn't he? He's in the next one of the next couple.
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
I think that's to think about.
I think that's what he's hanging around for. I think that's what he's
playing with this kid in the NBA. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was so much fun. And Dane was being quiet. He must have been next to an office somewhere.
Someone was saying he should narrate an audiobook in the comments.
Yeah, so
no, man. Dane was being it was. I didn't know if he was being satirical or what, but I was like, I know Dane's a little clown, man.
Hey, look at this, Charlie. Give some last minute advice to Noah Clowney.
Call him.
Telling you to call him. Yeah. I know you don't have his phone number.
Sure. I got you, Milt. I got you. I get a random call, man. Who is this guy calling me, man?
Hey, we can get him. I'll call him, get him on the air right now. Hey, man, you want to jump on the show right now?
That'll straight. That's like that 9th hour sales call when you you call somebody, you might tick them off.
It's like when you tell Spectrum you're going to cancel, but they won't shut up.
Yeah,
keep trying to get you to stay with them.
If I ever get a call like that, I'm like, hey, guys. I said, hold on. Can that clean blood out? I said, man, I got some serious blood stains here on this carpet. I just start messing with him.
Oh man, wow.
All right, we got to come back.
Or life insurance, and you need to be insured by someone who cares about you. For those of you in the Southwest Indiana, Evansville, and Southern Illinois areas, make sure to reach out to our friends at AAA Insurance today for your auto, home, life, and renter's insurance needs. You can reach AAA Insurance at 812-499-6666. That's 812-477-9966. AAA Insurance. Be covered by someone who cares about you.
This segment is brought to you by RE/MAX Advanced Realty, Indie Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat. Radio here on this Monday. Don't forget, if you are looking for a home in the Indianapolis area, Cheryl Sizemore from Remax Indy Home Pros. Her 2 decades of experience could be the difference between you getting the home you want or not. Give her a call, 317-298-0961, or Cheryl at theindyhomepros.com. We got to get you moved up here, man. I meant to say that to Dane, that we got to get you up here. Not moved up here. I know that'd be hard, but up here a little more frequently.
Yes.
Than once a year. So
no, and again, he actually put a little poke in there. I love when he talked about Isaiah and getting players to come back. I like that because you know what, and I'm gonna speak real about it, man. I mean, throughout the Crean era,
it didn't happen.
Crean, Coach Sampson, I felt the tide was turning with Coach Miller. I don't know. I didn't feel welcome. I didn't feel welcome. I mean, I might be exaggerating. I just didn't feel welcome.
I don't think it was a welcome. I think it was oblivious.
Which, you were trying to move on.
When Coach Knight came back and was speaking, the team was in the locker room. They weren't on the floor seeing Coach Knight come back. Coach Miller had he was just like oblivious to the importance of that. He was oblivious to the importance of Purdue, of that game. So,
Mm-hmm. So, no, I mean,
guys like
years. It takes it. And, now, it's like, okay, even listening to Coach Fife, right? He says, hey, man, I want to accept this job, but we have to get somebody as a head coach, that's a former player, right? For my reason, I think I have similar reasons just to bring back the nature of what we were about. Not necessarily tradition of Indiana, but just we were always a value-added, close-knit family group, that protect each other. I mean, it's just a bottom line.
That won.
So, and that won too, right? I mean,
but that won by playing hard together.
Hard, yes, yeah. And again, very fortunate. I can say, we helped Coach Knight win 80 plus games. I won over 20 plus games a season. With the losing season, I think we ever had 10 games. I mean, that's really, really good. You look back on that stuff. You can share that with players. And that means a lot. So what, you didn't win a Big Ten. So what, you didn't win that championship. Only so many teams are, but yet what we stand for and what Dane said is the old proverbial saying of college athletes. Whatever school you go to, it's not just a 4-year journey. It's a 40-year journey because after those 4 years, the people that's going to affect you, that community, that network community is going to be IU people. So this is, and I'm experiencing that in year 21, right? I'm experiencing that effect. Having an opportunity to be on your show, doing things still back in Indiana, basketball-wise, a little bit here, there. I'm experiencing that. So it's a pretty good thing for players to understand and here.
And I cannot tell you how much we appreciate and love having you go through that. But I just thought of the new title of your next or your first or next book, The 40-Year Journey.
Hey, like 3 for 3, 30, what, 30 for 30, 4 for 30. Hey, you know what? 4 for 40.
440.
440.
4 for 40.
You know what? You got something. You're on something. You're on something. Hey, if you are an editor, a ghostwriter, know somebody.
I got somebody for you. No.
Oh, let's do it then. Let's do it.
Yeah. That's right. That's right there because everything you talk about is that. It all comes back to that.
That's it.
Everything fits into that box, but it's not that simple.
I am the example. Listen,
because this supersedes sports too. It goes beyond basketball, but it's life.
And Dane came on the call speaking that, and that's all. And again, for me, as I share humility, oh, you're so passionate. Oh, you're so patient. No, you got to understand. This is all I know. All I know is what I've learned from sports, and sports saved my life. I mean, I'm just being real. Like, I mean, I didn't put a lot of value in education. I didn't put a lot of value in math class. All I knew was put ball in hole. Forget the put ball in hole. This is going to give you an opportunity to see the world, right? And that's a lot of athletes. But to hear this message, even to be on this call with you, when I first met you at the Penn State game, a couple years ago. Whatever you saw in me, and that's what this is about. I mean, it's to have players that are playing now to be a part of the IU family culture, talking about it from their perspective and also relevancy.
Yeah, because sports are so cool because it can go so much further and deeper, and there is nothing close to sports that can change lives.
That's right.
Math can't. I mean, on a grand scale.
That's right. That's right.
On this, there's nothing that can reach more people than sports, and it's usually the athletes that it reaches, not the viewers. But the athletes are in mass numbers, so that's a lot of people. It's not like checkers is doing it to people,
right?
Math isn't doing it to people or whatever. It's just an amazing thing because usually the story is amazing. It's someone that's like, wow, there's no way this person could have ever done this if that hadn't happened. And it generally will always be through sports somehow or through a coach, a relationship in sports. It's just mind-boggling how many different ways a story can go, whether it's through their own determination, through their own fortune, through meeting a coach, through meeting another player, through meeting a different parent. Maybe parent took them in. It's just there's so many different ways, trails that can go.
And again, and now on this other side, right, as a coach who I don't really care too much about credit. I mean, this is, I've always, and I was also told this, and this is the real, might be, something that was a detriment for you, Charlie, where you're too careless, right? You're just too open. Well, that's all I know. But, a lot of people that affected me didn't care for credit. They didn't say, hey, look what I helped Charlie do. And I just learned from them. I mean, Dane talked about his father. I mean, his father helped many people. His father's a Hall of Fame coach in Michigan's high school, one of the winningest coaches in Michigan high school state's history, and affected 3, 4, 5 different generations. People have grandkids now that have played or went to his camps or have heard the same things that they heard. Those are my heroes, man. That's what this thing's about, right? You may never get to win a national championship, but yet you can influence and affect somebody for the rest of their life. That's just monumental, man.
Is Dugan Fife, is he in coaching or is he out of?
No. Dugan's is, I believe, he's in the financial sector. He's in the financial sector.
I'm just curious because sometimes
who was
and sometimes you want to get out of that.
Yeah, who was a teammate, which is to me pretty amazing. Rob Pelinka. I'm not sure if you know the name.
I remember that name. Yes.
But okay, he was a shooter, right?
Yeah,
he was a shooter. He actually is now he's actually the Lakers, if not president. He's a GM of the Los Angeles Lakers. He was Kobe's agent. That was Kobe's agent. Yeah, that was Kobe's agent. He was Kobe's agent. I mean, so to me, it's
need to get him on the show one day.
It was mind-boggling because I'm like, man, I remember playing with him in the summertime. And to see the growth and what people end up doing. Yeah, he was Kobe's agent for a long time. And now, I think I want to make sure I'm correct. Either he's
and now that also brings up, though, there's so many more opportunities now, whether it's an agent, before agent, we're just lawyers,
Usually, exactly.
Usually a Caucasian lawyer was the agent. Well, now, and it's not just that, but there's so many other opportunities all across the board. Is it Andre Patterson who's with Detroit that was on with us? Who's now with Detroit?
No, with the Cavaliers
or Cavs? Yeah.
Yeah, Cavs. Yeah,
he's with the Cavs. And so many guys that are in coaching, but front office, not coaching, but front office jobs.
That's right. That's right.
And that is a big change.
That's right.
And many more opportunities.
It is.
So it's incredible to see that. I'm still the manager thing still blows my mind. How many managers? I mean, I knew it back then, but it just continues to grow, and we've got to get that list together. So we got to get two things. We got to get a book and a list of those managers.
Love it. And for me, I want to just let people know, look up this name. If you don't know this name, Joe Abunasar. I always speak highly of Joe. Joe Abunasar was a former manager. Joe
How you spell that last
Abunasar.
name, man?
Abunasar. I gotta look it up, but
You gotta look it
I'll
up.
get it for you.
Guess.
But check it out. Impact Sports. IMPACT. Impact Sports. Joe Abunasar. Joe was a former manager back in the 80s, late 80s. He ended up coaching with Joby Wright, former IU player at University of Wyoming. Decided that he wanted to become a player development coach, and Joe was a pioneer in the field that I'm in. And Joe was somebody that I looked out and looked up to because I had a chance to train with Joe once or twice. And let's talk about Joe's clients. Chauncey Billups, head coach in the NBA right now. Tyronn Lue, head coach in the NBA right now. That's still Indiana's family tree. Joe learned a lot. I mean, I could go George David, former manager, became Joe Dumars' right-hand man and was instrumental in helping Detroit Pistons win those national championships. I mean, those world championships they won. It was George. I remember George had a decision: work for Dad's big boy chain in Detroit, or go intern for the Pistons. You know, I remember getting that call. Which one should I do, man? I'm like, where's your heart? Where's your heart at? Right? Just so happened that the head film guy from the Pistons ended up quitting and gave George an opportunity. And then he just worked the way up the top. But again, that goes back to from Coach Knight's pedigree. I know a lot of times people don't want to hear about Coach Knight and all he's done and let's move on. I hear that, but you got to realize the value he's given us. I'm doing what I'm doing today from a lot of what I learned from that guy, and then some.
I don't care if people want to hear about it or not from that standpoint, because it's fact, and
yeah, man,
that's a fact, and I'm not. Yeah. I can recognize Knight's his negatives. I know what they were. Yeah, exactly. And I know what his positives were. I separate them. And I'm not saying it makes him that the bad does not equal out the good. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying here was the good and here was the bad, and separate them and take what you want from them. But the bad was the bad and the good was the good. And the good helped a ton of people. That I can say that. It has employed so many people. It has given careers to so many people. It is just, there's a ton of things that he did because he was a teacher, which
that's right.
Reminds me, I always think of you as a teacher.
That's right.
He was a teacher.
That's right.
I mean, that's
what he was.
He was a freaking teacher. That's why you guys had those damn notebooks and still have them, because it was a class of sorts.
Yeah.
And you better get an A in that class.
That's right. He was a teacher. That's exactly. And I speak highly on this. You know, there's no insult to injury to me. He was a teacher to me more than a coach. I see coaching as different, X's and O's. He was a teacher of this game. He taught us how to fish and how to fish for life, where you can teach other people how to fish.
He did like to fish. There was no about that.
Pun intended, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he did. And it's
that's right. That's right.
And I guarantee he probably had all kinds of stories. Didn't I? I think there was a story he brought a fishing rod in to practice. I remember hearing that.
Too many. I have too many stories to share and too many things that you don't want to talk about. Funny story. I think the funny story. Funny. To me, it's funny. I remember Todd Lindemann did something in the court. You know, it's in a game we ended up winning. We laugh about it, and he broke that. He broke the clipboard over Todd's head. It's funny.
First of all,
I'm sorry.
First of all, how did he reach him? Because he was
sitting down.
6'6".
He's sitting down.
Oh,
he's sitting.
We got to take a break, man. John's going to kill us. We got plenty more. Having a great day here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by our good friends at Reynolds Family Dentistry. If you're in Southern Indiana, down in Sellersburg, go see our good friend Dr. J for that championship smile. Back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Whether it's a celebration.
All right, and then this is. I'll send you a text when we get close, Jim, but 56 is when we're ending after this.
Yeah, you're going to have to remind me on that. Now, what about that first? Are you going to create a break or just?
No, we're good. We're good. So technically, we have all the breaks in. We normally just take a fifth one. whenever we normally like. So we don't have all the breaks in, but 4 is the minimum we need. That's what I'm trying to say to hit all of the required stuff for the ref. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So in the future, when we have, surprise guests like that, it's kind of good to have that, I guess, extra leeway on occasion.
Man, that was just a blast with Dane, though.
It was.
Well, and he's even more fun than that. If he had been outside, he was obviously in a place where he couldn't talk loudly, but he was awesome. He always is, though. Appreciate him. He's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
I am so freaking hot. I'm gonna have to get you to dig up last year 2 years ago when they hired
Nick Sheridan.
Nick Sheridan. I'm gonna have to.
I'll tell you what, though, Nick Sheridan was not to blame for this past week.
No, I'm not saying, but it goes way deeper than play calling. I'm not talking about.
Absolutely,
I'm talking about,
I agree.
Just like I said, they decided that Penix was the guy, I think, and that's just where they went, and the development has just been poor.
The one difference, too, that Sheridan did was he coached from the field this past week, too, instead of the press box.
Yes, he did.
Let's go ahead and come back in, though.
APR financing over 48 months and $0 down. Or how about a brand new 2021 Honda Passport? Also 0% APR financing over 48 months and $0 down. Get more to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Oh, welcome back. It is Monday. It's a nice Monday, but it's still Monday. Hope you're having a good time. We have been. I got Charlie Miller, so it's always fun. Don Fischer was on with us. Dane Fife, man, how can you beat that Monday? That's a great way to start the week, Charlie.
Hey, man, I just feel sorry for your listeners from Tuesday through Friday.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The Colts, man, I watched the Colts game yesterday. They really needed to win that game, a divisional game against Tennessee. Started out on fire. They had the lead, and then it crumbled at the end. And, oh, man, throw interception from the end zone. And, the Colts, they're just that was a game that they just had to have, and that may be the nail in their season. Even though we're that early on, that's I think they're 2-5 now, so they're 3 games back in the division. It's a little bit too much to come back from, but it is what it is.
That's
Yeah,
right.
who's your football team? You have a football team in NFL?
I don't. I mean,
Not the
you take me-
Dolphins.
well, you take me back. I mean, I'm still a Dan Marino fan.
Who isn't?
Yeah.
I mean, those were that was fun. That's how old I am. But I remember watching Marino and Mark Super Duper Clayton and those
that's
guys.
my guys.
Now one of those
Mark
guys,
Duper, Mark Clayton, Mark Duper.
well, one of
Mark
those
Clayton.
guys was from Louisville.
I think it was Duper.
I think
Yeah.
so. But
Yeah.
But man, that was fun watching. To not win a Super Bowl. Still can't believe Marino did not win a Super Bowl. He's got to be the greatest quarterback to not win one.
Yeah, and he was fiery too, man. Like I mean, boy, Dan was fiery.
He was a Pittsburgh guy, man.
That's right. He was a fiery guy,
Pittsburgh.
man.
He's a
He was
Pittsburgh.
fiery.
Got a comment from Five Lefts, says being a manager under Coach Knight will definitely open some doors, not just from name recognition, but from the fundamentals you learned about the game and coaching. Well, trust me, it's way more than that. Yeah, you would be shocked if you knew the long list of managers that are coaches or NBA personnel or college Division I college personnel. I mean, you've got NBA head coaches, guys, and you got like Lawrence Frank, who was just a manager who went on to become an NBA coach, GM. And there will be more. It's crazy, but the success. Our friend LJ Wright, he's the head of the NCAA Men's Championships. I went to high school with him. He's was a manager on the '87 team. There's so many that I would have to seriously get a list, and I wish someone would compile that. I'm surprised Indiana basketball has not done that.
Well, I'm gonna make it. You know what? I'm gonna text him about that. I think that'd be pretty cool because there's an alumni association newsletter that goes out. Another guy that people may not know about or talk about, UC Santa Barbara's coach Joe Pasternak. He was a former manager. He's the head coach at UC Santa Barbara.
Joe Pasternak that coached at Georgia Tech?
Did he coach at Georgia Tech? I don't know.
Is that the same guy? John, is that right?
You're thinking of John Passner.
Okay,
yeah, no. Yeah, no, yeah.
I was
Joe,
gonna say, wait a minute.
he's at UC Santa Barbara. Joe Pasternak, former manager.
Head coach at UC?
Head coach, yeah.
Okay.
We
need to put this together first.
Yeah.
We need to put our list together first and then take it to them because I want to make sure we get involved with that. Because I think that's a cool thing.
Because see what you said earlier, and I think Five Less led to it. You got to understand the roles, the duties, roles, and responsibilities that Coach Knight gave these managers was front loaded. I mean, it was heavy. Break down Charlie's minutes on whatever. Break the stuff down. And they had to do it with VCR tapes. It wasn't that digital stuff. So think about the amount of detail and the hours of detail. So now when you go out and interview for an opportunity and you give your vision, because that's what I heard, coaches have to give their 5-year, 10-year vision of what they can do for this particular school.
Wow.
One, the graduation, I mean, you were around that. Coach Knight, we graduated 99.9% of the players graduated. That's one. Plus, two, the vision on the development. They can speak the game because they lived it. They lived it, and they all learned. I know Dusty May coached under Coach Davis for several years. Elon's coach, God dang it. Elon, man, come on. University right, Elon.
I'll Google it.
Yeah, but bottom line, I can't believe it because we always kind of go back and forth. But he coached under Coach K before he went on to Stanford, and then now he's the coach at University Elon.
Mike Schrage.
Right, Mike Schrage. I mean,
I
can't believe I didn't get that because you always say that. They paid their dues. Like, so for me, 20 years later, they're living that 40-year journey. This is where they wanted to be, right? This is where they want to be. They want to become head coaches. They've earned the right to do that. And I just wish their players get a sense of understanding of how they got to those positions. A lot of times you really don't understand that. Like Dane talked a great deal about that, about Coach Woodson. He really talked about a lot of stuff he did because he's done it all, right? I mean, you play in the NBA. You play, you were a perennial player in college. You were sought after. You've done it. Now you're speaking from a standpoint of, I can help you do these things. I embody these things. I can help you with these things. Just trust what I'm telling you. And that's what I think that's the buy-in he's actually getting. But yeah, I mean, we have an extensive list, man.
Yeah, we're gonna build that up too. I'm not gonna let off of that this time. I'm gonna send you a note, and the book 4 for 40. Love that title.
Yeah, love it, man. Love it,
man.
dude. I love it.
And it's
I love
going
it.
to lead right into everything you've done.
Jim, please
love
listen,
that.
man. I'm gonna put Jim. Hey, let's hold Jim accountable. I need that ghostwriter because I got story, man. We're gonna hold Jim accountable. Tim, Forrest, Ross, 5 Let's Ryan. We're gonna hold Jim accountable. I need that. I need that story in my life, man.
As soon as we're done.
I need that story in my life.
I've got to go to football. We've got football this morning.
That's fine.
The Monday pressers, which they're not going to be too fun, I'm sure. Coming off of a loss, which was their last opportunity. They have to win. They have to win out now to become bowl eligible. And I don't know why we're talking about bowl eligibility. I'll be honest with you. That's not going to happen from what unless there is just an unbelievable change. It's just not going to happen. And I don't expect this. I didn't expect this team to win at Michigan anyway. So now it's now you're working on development. Now you got to develop. You got to work on developing this quarterback into a quarterback. He's thrust into the situation, and I know you can't go there not planning to win. Of course, you're going to want to win and try to win, but the reality of the situation is you've just got to put this quarterback in the best position you can now to develop him, to use this to develop him. Since he's been forced to play, you didn't want him to play. You wanted to redshirt him, but now he has to. All right, now use it the right way to develop him. Don't just throw him out there. Let him learn, teach him, make sure he's learning, make sure he's making the right decisions, but put him in the right position. Don't just cast him out to the wolves.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's almost like there's been a cycle where you have great quarterback play from younger players for 2 years, and then all of a sudden there's a fall off. But then you keep relying on younger quarterbacks. So it's like I think that position, man, you would love to have, especially if he's going to stay all 4 years, you would love to have some type of junior, senior, leadership, older developed player. You continuously rely on younger players. That's not bad, but I don't know if there's any consistency that you're going to have. So you hope that the player we're talking about can actually sustain it and work out for.
And while Mr. Clowney will be making his decision today, and word on the street is it's probably going to go Alabama's way. You still got Gabe Cupps and his decision looming. He seems very, I guess let's just say interested in Indiana. He's made several unofficial trips. I think he likes this type of offense. I think he will fit in. Do you know who he reminds me of? I'm glad you're on today. Do you know who he reminds me of? I'm just watching him, and I've seen it a little bit. Neil Reed.
Okay.
He reminds me of Neil Reed.
He's scrappy. He is scrappy.
He can shoot.
Scrappy.
He can shoot. He's just one of those guys. He's one of those guys that knows he has to figure out ways to do things mentally as opposed to physically, because he doesn't have all the physical skills to do all those things. I saw Neil Reed when I saw him, and Neil Reed was a hell of a player.
Yeah. No, I like where you're going with that. I watched some highlight on Gabe, and actually similar to what you just described, because Neil played basketball similar to Gabe, kind of in that New Orleans area. So he's playing with a lot of players, a lot of good players.
What was Neon Boudreaux? Did you ever see the movie Blue Chips?
Yeah.
That's where Shaq's character Neon Boudreaux was from. Down there in the
Louisiana area.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see where you're going with that, because I watched him. He's scrappy, can shoot it, a little more cerebral, so he has to be a little smarter because of size. I can see that big time.
And you love and need players like that on the team.
Yeah,
you have to have that guy. Is it 154? We got to get out, John.
Yeah. 2 more minutes we have.
You got 2 minutes.
Sure. Oh, I want to make sure we don't get confused on that on those Mondays. But yeah, you need those guys. You have to have that scrapper to bring the scrapper out of somebody else, because it's not. Sometimes you just don't have that in you until it's brought out by somebody else. and it's a mode of survival. But scrapping, man, you got to scrap at all levels.
That's right, especially on the perimeter. I mean, you get that from a guard. I mean, it means a lot. You expect that from a forward to a big, but from a guard's perspective, a small, you have a scrappy guard. I mean, that means that's a lot, especially on the defensive end.
Appreciate it. Ross says another great show. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. All the great comments. We appreciate you. 5 Left says Cups is smart and he challenged LeBron. I don't know how smart.
Yes, that's because when they lived in Cleveland, he played on the Blue Chips team with LeBron's son. So LeBron's know him. So they were chipping back and forth, talking some smack. But obviously he reveres LeBron. But it was pretty cool to watch. They were kind of going back and forth one AAU game.
Yep. Well, man, it has been a great day, a great fun. I cannot tell you how much fun it had. Of course, Dane had a lot to do with that, but also the great Don Fischer as well. What a hell of a day we've had.
Man,
I've got Charlie Miller, I've got Dane Fife, and Don Fischer on here.
Man,
I mean,
take it.
Boom, sold. I'll take it all day long. Cannot thank you guys, but most importantly, we had you all. Without you all, there's no reason for us to be here. But a big thanks, of course, to our guests as always, and as well to everyone else. We'll be back tomorrow to do it again. Thanks to John, the producer, for getting us through everything. And until tomorrow, I'm Jim Coyle. Go out and have yourself a great day. I'll see you on the radio.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, guys.